Arsene Wenger's decision to prioritise the Europa League may backfire if Arsenal do not win it and also slip to 7th credit. Lindsay Parnaby, AFP, Getty Images. Arsenal's slide down the Premier League has left them facing the prospect of a nightmare pre-season that would involve managing Europa League qualifiers and expected matches in Singapore just 11 days after the World Cup final. UEFA has confirmed that a Europa League space for English teams will go to the club that finishes 7th in the Premier League, provided that Southampton do not unexpectedly win the FA Cup. The extra place follows Manchester City also winning the League Cup, but, with Burnley now only 2 points behind Arsene Wenger's team following Sunday's 5th consecutive away defeat in the league, this time at Newcastle, Arsenal finishing 7th has become a very real possibility. That would mean entering the Europa League at the second qualifying round stage, with the first match scheduled for July 26. That is the same date as Arsenal had been planning to face Atletico Madrid as part of an international tournament in Singapore that also includes Paris Saint-Germain. There is no Emirates Cup competition this year, but potentially 5 further Europa League qualifying dates on August 2, 9, 16, 23 and 30. Arsenal were already certain to rest players from the Singapore competition because of what has always been Wenger's desire for them to have at least 3 completely clear weeks of rest during the summer. The World Cup stretches between June 14 and July 15, and, while players such as Aaron Ramsey and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will not be involved, many other key Arsenal personnel will be. Arsenal have been planning to confirm their participation in Singapore shortly and still know that they can avoid this scenario by either winning the Europa League, in which case they would return to the Champions League, or by finishing 5th or 6th in the Premier League to go straight into the Europa League groups. Arsene Wenger's side is in danger of sliding to 7th credit. Serena Taylor, Newcastle United via Getty Images. Although Wenger is now clearly prioritising the club's Europa League semi-final against Atletico Madrid, the prospect of qualifying rounds does ensure that there is still plenty of incentive to ensure that they do not fall behind Burnley. Arsenal had never finished outside the top 4 under Wenger until last season, when they were 5th, but did win the FA Cup, and are facing a comparable situation this year given their ongoing Europa League participation. No decision has yet been made on whether Wenger will continue as manager for what is the final year of his contract next season, but the pressure for change will become intense if they do not now win the Europa League. Club's board have not yet made a decision and, while performances and the failure again to mount a Premier League title challenge will be of greatest concern, the general apathy of supporters will also be considered. Alexandre Lacazette scores in the Emirates Cup last July. Arsenal will not be hosting their pre-season tournament this summer. Credit Reuters. Hannah Mackay. Recent home Premier League games have been notable for the large numbers of empty seats and, while that is partly explained by how relatively little there is to play for in the league, directors will be anxious to see those fans return. Familiar defensive frailties were again exposed on Sunday by Newcastle, and Arsenal are prioritising the centre-back position in their summer recruitment. For Mertesacker retires at the end of the season, but Laurent Koscielny has been struggling for several years now with Achilles tendon pain, and there are ongoing doubts about the quality of Shkodran Mustafi. Former Manchester United defender Nemanja Vidic believes that there was a lack of communication between the defensive players in the Newcastle defeat. "They are watching the ball and not reacting," he said. "There are 6 players against 3 and there is no communication about who is going to go and attack the ball, who is going to